Hello, welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, and I'm a real person, and today I want to talk to you about master levels for Doom 2. It's for PC. I don't know that it came out for anything other than computers. I have the Steam version of it, and about the Steam version is that it is running the original files. It's just running the original DOS files through the program DOSBox. So be aware of that. Also, other things to be aware of: it doesn't have controller support because it's just the old DOS game. I don't even know if it had even retro gamepad support at that point. So I had to use I didn't have to, but I used I used Joy to Key, this application, so I could map the functions to my controller. So I can't comment too much on how it controls, other than it controls like Doom. If you modded the DOS version of Doom, or had some program for that version to use a controller, to have a controller simulate the inputs of using the keys to play. It's like that. Also, it's kind of interesting that it doesn't come by itself. You have to get it in a pack. I don't know if there is multiple packs, but the pack I got it in included Doom, Doom 2, and Final Doom. So it's not really a separate thing. It's hard to talk about it separately, but keep that in mind. Also, there's going to be a written review you can check out before, after, or instead of this video review. Linked in the description below and on hubworldhq.com. But with all that in mind, let's just jump in and see just what master levels of Doom 2 are all about. Basically, as far as I understand it, the master levels for Doom 2 are a bunch of levels handpicked by the people at id Software, I guess, that where these are all fan levels that they picked out that other people had made, and they basically just compiled them together in this collection. And there's I think there's supposed to be like 20 levels here. So, yeah, 20 levels, and you basically start this up. It brings up this menu window thing, and you go select the levels, and you individually can select each level to play as its own standalone level. And then, of course, it plays like Doom plays. You guys know how Doom plays, or more accurately, Doom 2. It's using the same engine, the same assets. It's just that these are levels that people have made. And they have some different things they try to do with them. These levels are a bit harder than your standard Doom 2 levels, and because they're designed for masters. And so you're going to have a lot more tricks and traps happening, a lot more places where you step somewhere and it triggers things to open up, or it triggers enemies to spawn. There are these portals that can teleport enemies around, but not you, so they'll be teleporting around in a bunch of different places. There are also teleporters that can teleport you around, and a lot of times can teleport you into positions you don't want to be in the middle of a bunch of enemies. They try to play around with a lot of ideas here. And do a lot of things you haven't necessarily seen in Doom or Doom 2 already. And they're designed to be pretty hard as well. I only played on the easiest difficulty, since that's all I play on for the other games as well, and I'm not going to be an expert at telling you about all the differences. But what I can say is that they certainly have balanced it, so it's not just one standard difficulty throughout the entire thing. The difficulty does seem to be balanced for each one, as far as I can tell. Mainly by also the screenshots that I saw were clearly not from the easiest difficulty on the store page, because I didn't see nearly that level of a shit show at any point, so there's that. You just complete through all the levels, and once you do all the levels, that's it. For good things, it controls like Doom. If you like playing Doom and Doom 2, you'll like master levels for Doom 2. It's the same thing. So it's great. That is to say, that's not me being like, oh, whatever. No, that's great. You'll understand all these assets and a lot of the concepts I also think it's pretty cool how it does sort of put you in these interesting situations at times, trying to trick you with certain little elements here and there. And it can be pretty tough. There's actually some really cool stuff I saw in here. Like, one of the coolest levels, I believe, was here, where it's like, they made it, because you can't do rooms on top of rooms in this engine. In fact, everything has to be like this two-dimensional map layout. And it has to, like, basically simulate 3D, even though it's technically not 3D. That's a whole different thing to get into. But the way they did it was they have an elevator that goes up and down, and there are just different rooms for you to get off on that are all at different elevations. And so it kind of gives you the illusion that this place is just really tall. And it's pretty interesting, too, because then you have to fight some enemies. Like, if you don't kill them, or if you try to run away from them, they can get onto the elevator, and then you have to fight off enemies, going up and down this elevator. Either waiting for them to go up and down as the elevator goes up and down, or jump onto the elevator with them and try to attack them while it's going up and down like that. So it's there's some pretty interesting stuff here. There's some levels that are pretty tough, and they're playing around with some fun ideas. And it's always good to have more levels to play. More Doom. It's hard to really do too poorly with such a solid engine, and we already have such great examples to go off of, and then just people trying to be more creative with it, along with that little layer of hand-picked, like, okay, well, these are the ones that we liked, we'll use these ones for our package. That stuff's great. And so that stuff, all good. My complaints, I think, are more in just kind of how this version was treated, more or less. There's not really a menu to launch in. Like, there's not like a cool, like, play the episode full of all these levels in a row. You have to do each one individually from this really generic DOS-looking selection screen. There's actually, I think, one of the times I picked a level, and it was actually a repeat of a different level on the pack, so I think I got cheated out of that level. There's not that many levels in the pack either to begin with, which is probably why it's not sold separately. Because they just didn't think it was good enough to be sold on its own. But that also is kind of annoying, because then you have to buy a pack, and if you already have something else in the pack, you don't really want to buy it again just to get the extra levels for that necessarily, unless it's like a good sale or something, like when I got it. So it does seem kind of hard to justify some of the things there with that. Also, this version, it just runs through DOSBox, which is also annoying. They didn't, like, update it or do anything with it. They just slapped it into DOSBox, to use the original file, so they didn't have to fuck with it. No controller support because of that, too. Most of the problems stem just from that laziness of this. But the real problem with that, I think, that's even worse, is that the version of DOSBox they give you with this game doesn't work. You have to take an existing version of DOSBox from something else, or go online and get it if you don't have anything else that uses it, and copy that file into the folder after you delete the previous DOSBox, so that you have a properly functioning one in order for the game to actually start. That maybe should have been fixed, and maybe it should still be fixed if it hasn't by now, so that you could actually play this thing. And yeah, it is kind of a shame that it's one of those things where people aren't necessarily going to want to pay extra for getting these master levels for Doom 2 if they haven't even played Doom or Doom 2 yet, the standard games yet. So having it being available as a separate thing would probably make more sense, but I think it's more of a way to try and be like, hey, just spend a little bit more and you get even more. And it's sort of a gamble. I don't know. It's a weird way of marketing that, and I found that to be a little annoying. And I mean, that's pretty much it. If you like Doom and Doom 2, you'll probably like master levels for Doom 2. It's annoying to get it in a pack with something, but if you get it on sale on Steam, it's pretty cheap. And again, make sure you can get a properly functioning DOSBox file, but all that considered, even with the bit of hassle I had to go through with it and the rather unrefined nature of it, it was still pretty fun. It's still something that I would definitely recommend to fans of classic first-person shooters, to Doom fans. And if you're looking to get Doom, maybe getting a pack with this on there also is not too bad of an idea, just because, well, it's just going to be more levels to have fun with. And chances are already pretty good you're going to enjoy these levels anyways. Like, you're going to enjoy Doom anyways, I mean, so I would say it's a safe bet to get it, or get it on sale if it's something that you need to get a package for now and you already have all the other stuff anyways separately. But it's worth checking out, definitely. And I don't know, what do you guys think of master levels for Doom 2? I'd love to know from people who play on respectable difficulty levels what they think, and about its availability and all that. I would be very interested to hear that stuff in the comments if you'd like. And stay tuned, because there is yet another thing of Doom I want to address. Most likely after this. It should be the next review. We'll see what happens if I remember. I mean, I am pretty stupid.